Hello? Can anyone around here speak basketball?
There it is.
It's the Confederacy of Dunks Basketball Podcast.
Bonjour and hello. Welcome to the Confederacy of Dunks
Basketball Podcast.
I am your host, Freddie Rivas, and who are you, sir?
Producer Matt Duncan on the keys. We're in studio today. How are you doing?
I am doing very good. Still recovering from your bachelor.
My bachelor, yeah, that was unreal.
Lake Simcoe isn't ever going to be the same. I'll say that.
That's true.
It's a different place now.
Yeah.
And same goes for Lord Simcoe. So if you're a relative of Lord
That's true.
Simcoe,
Yeah.
Appreciate the holiday.
We all are, yeah.
In September, but yeah. We're a basketball podcast. We talk ball, we talk Raptors ball. We're hardcore fans.
Yeah.
If people want to find us or help us out, or like, I don't know, drop off a duffel bag of cash, how might they do that?
You know what? We've had great responses on our iTunes reviews. You know what? If you don't have a positive one and you want to leave us a negative review, that's fine too, because we're going to learn from that. We did get a little bit of a negative one, but it wasn't bad, Freddie.
It was good.
All he wanted was more content during the finals. And I thought about it and I was like, well, we were too busy out enjoying the games to record.
Though? We let a fan down.
We did let a fan down.
We let a listener down.
Yeah.
And we gotta change.
Kevin6545, I apologize on behalf of Freddie for not having enough content during the finals. Yeah, because I guess the Raptors, it's crazy. But I do not give into that narrative that they'll never be there again as some goofy thing. They're going to be in the finals a bunch. So we don't need to have a big fancy feast every time they do.
Okay. I like it. I mean, I think we should have a fancy
Yeah, we definitely should have. Yeah.
But so we're on all the stuff, right?
Yeah. We're on sorry,
Yeah, come on, man. But
Stitcher,
you gotta
Spotify. You're listening to I got a wedding dance playlist. I got hot on Spotify. Give that a gander if you want, and then check out Confederacy of Dunks on there too. Player FM, all the favorite podcatchers that you may have.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
And, as soon as this weather starts to cool down a bit, bang, out come the toques.
Yeah, that's right.
So we'll be selling those toques.
Starting to get toque out there.
The Patreon page I've been thinking about doing for over a year.
It's coming.
That's on the horizon.
Right.
The other day I actually went to the Patreon.
Did you?
I Googled Patreon.
You just got your cookies in there?
Oh, I got so confused.
Oh.
It was like log in, register. I'm like, what am I supposed to do? You know what I mean? But we'll be back.
Yeah.
We'll be back with Patreon. Let's bring on the guests.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so in studio with me, I believe it's his second time doing the podcast. An extremely funny dude, very good at softball. He's got a web series out right now, Ming's Dynasty. So make sure to check that out.
Yeah.
I'll say no more. Give it up at home for Antony Hall.
Woo! Yeah. Happy to be here with the boys, Confederacy of Dunks. Here we go.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean, it felt cool.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty cool.
Pretty damn dope.
Did I pronounce it right? Is it Ming's Dynasty or Ming Dynasty?
It's Ming's Dynasty. Yeah,
Ooh,
you got it right, man.
I nailed it, baby.
Yeah, you got it right.
You didn't even do any homework on that one.
Oh, well, yes, I did. Okay. I just know it. All right. But thanks so much for joining me in person. You and Matt actually met today, so that's kind of cool.
Yeah, that's right. The last time I was on, you were recovering from your foot injury, and we did the call-in episode.
Oh, that's right.
And I didn't get to be in studio, but here I am in the flesh.
Yeah, no more knee brace for me. I'm doing pretty good. Let's bring on guest number 2.
All right.
She's on the podcast all the time.
Yep.
If I had to ballpark it, I would say this is like probably her 11th, 12th time.
Probably something like that. Yeah.
She's amazing. She's hilarious. She's an incredible writer. Follow her wherever you can, except in real life, but online and stuff, she's amazing. Give it up at home for Cathryn Naiker.
Hello.
Hello.
That's all I'm not as cool as Antony, Music it's always cooler than me, and I like to let it play out.
Yeah, but sometimes, sometimes you got to be a role player and just like let something ride. You know what I mean?
Right, exactly.
It's an important skill to recognize when something like badass is going on around you. Yeah. And you're just like, wow, that cat is doing backflips.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'll just watch like the rest of the.
Yeah, that's how I feel
town.
every time I start this podcast.
Well,
I feel like there's a cat doing backflips.
Okay, that's good. I was going to say like, I don't want you to feel like low confidence heading into the pod because
no, not at all. In fact, I've had so many appearances. I should get like a jacket or something.
Yeah. Well, what about a toque? We're going to get those.
Yeah. Okay, I'll start with a toque because then I'll need a Give Dunks blazer. Please.
Honestly, you need a jacket. And that's on us.
Yeah.
And guess what, folks?
A shiny one.
Jackets coming October 5th.
Comparison to leather jackets.
Oh, yeah.
Whoa, Letterman's?
Oh, that'd be fun.
We're talking windbreakers?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
What do you want, a $20 toque or a $300 jacket? Make up your mind.
That's like me shopping on the Toronto Raptors like championship merch store after they won. I was like, that Letterman jacket. Will I ever wear it? Maybe once or twice.
Yeah, I saw that one too.
I'll get a hat instead.
Yeah.
I mean, we got Raptors to stuttering Sammy over here.
Stuttering Sammy.
We got Raptors stuff to talk about. You guys ready or what?
Hell yeah.
Okay, Matt, why don't you give me that Raptors sting?
Dr. Grant, my dear Dr. Sampson, welcome to Jurassic Park.
When I say Bobby, you say Webster, Bobby.
Webster.
Bobby.
Webster. Yes. Did you say Cathryn?
I said Webster the second time.
Nice.
Okay. It's better than nothing.
Honestly, I will say this. The more you participate in that, the more fun it gets.
That's right. Yeah. And you're starting to appreciate them a little more.
I'm starting to appreciate the stings a bit, you a bit. I've been taking you for granted for a solid 4 years now. So,
5 years.
5 years. Wow. And you know, that first sting, I'll also say this. The when it pops into the song, I just think of those dinosaurs are dancing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it's like they do move in herds, and then it's like bam, bam. You know what I mean? Like, oh yeah, like they do move. Those brontosauruses doing like high steps. You know? Yeah. Okay, let's jump right into Raptor stuff. Cathryn, I think I'll go to you first here. So here's how I want to preface this. There's the Sports Illustrated, the SI Top 100 that comes out every year, authored by, I always forget the second guy's name because he's not on the Open Floor podcast, but it's Ben Golliver and another man who
refuses to do a podcast.
No, Rob Mahoney, who he does podcasts too. He's great. Okay. So the general idea here is, take whatever factors you want in. But what you're trying to predict is how the players are going to do this year, this regular season, and also the playoffs. So you would like that's how you're kind of evaluating them, and it's all contextual, right? Like, do they have a chance to make the playoffs? Are they a role player? Are they efficient? Are they young? Are they old? So you're factoring in all of those things, and it's kind of the perfect jumping off point for just all sorts of fun basketball arguments, because this is a place where you're going to find people have tons of different opinions and rating systems, et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, it's kind of a Raptor tradition to get mad at these guys for underrating our guys. It really, really kind of, I think, started gaining momentum when every year they would have DeRozan just like too low, and he would always outperform where they had him on the 100 list every single year.
We've done this list a bunch, right? Like we usually do it every year.
Yeah, it comes out around this time every year.
Yeah.
And, players are slighted. Like, it's one of those things that a lot of folks try and play off as like not mattering.
Yeah.
But it would also be the type of thing where at the end of a year, like, let's say, DeRozan or someone would be like, yeah, SI had me at 31. Like, check me out now. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, it's one of those, people reference it.
Is it like, do they feel the same way about a 2K rating? They get their 2K ratings.
Honestly, players also do comment on 2K ratings. I love when players are like, I don't care. Because I'm like, you all care so much about everything. Just like all of us, we're in the like max content.
Right. Especially the younger players too, right? The younger players care so much about their 2K ratings because they grew up playing those games and the new one just came out and I played it for 4 hours today.
Nice.
What were you going to say, Cathryn?
No, all of them care way more than they ever admit.
Yes. So all that preamble aside, I kind of want to go through the Raptors and just kind of do a temperature take. So let's start with we'll go bottom to top, and then we'll talk about omissions after that. So yeah, Cathryn, let me jump to you first. They have Serge Ibaka. They have Serge Ibaka at 80th out of 100. How do you feel about that?
I actually think this might be controversial, but I think he is properly rated.
Okay.
At 80. Because I just think, like, I mean, if he was starting the whole season and especially the playoffs, then I think he should have been ranked higher. But considering he was coming off the bench and, I don't know. I think 80 is properly rating Serge Ibaka. Sorry, Serge.
You know what?
He's definitely listening.
If Serge is listening, 100%. He's probably like, Mafuzi's sad. You know what I mean? I'm assuming he says Mafuzi like all the time.
Yeah.
But he'll be at Rolson later eating his feelings.
Yeah. Rolson in trouble. I hope he saves it.
Yeah.
Serge.
Yeah, he needs to buy it.
Condos. I think Serge is properly rated. Like, it's easy to look at a guy below him like Julius Randle, 79, being like, he's better than Julius Randle. But it's like age is a factor here. And I think with Serge, you do have to kind of like plan for some regression. He's good on offense. He's good on defense. He is a little bit older. He, probably won't be playing more than like 30-ish minutes a game. I tend to agree with you, Cathryn. Where are you at, Antony? Do you think this is like a slight for Serge, or is he too high?
I think it's fair as well. Like, he's certainly lost a bit of athleticism over the years. I don't think he's the same sort of like high volume rebounder that he really was before, and even like shot blocking. He's like a really great energy guy,
right?
And I think when he is on, he is incredible. But I think it's fair. Like, he's probably due for a little bit of regression. He's like 30 now, right?
Yeah, I think I think Serge's like 29.
Yeah,
29, 30, something like that.
And like his play style lends itself to like a big drop down once you hit your 30s, or once you just like kind of lose like a bit of a step, So I think, it's fair.
Cool. So these people rating NBA players, they put a lot of thought into it. I think we've all agreed.
Right.
Okay, so let's jump all the way up to 42. Antony, I'll stick with you. So we got Marc Gasol at 42. How does that sit with you?
Well, I think he's a little bit underrated. I think he should be a little bit higher, even though like I just finished talking about Serge being older and not really complementing his game as well with age. But like, I think Marc Gasol is one of those players that has adapted so well over the years. And actually, I remember yesterday we were talking about the FIBA tournament.
Yeah.
He has really sort of earned the respect of the refs and other players in the way that he plays defense. And it really does complement a slower, more sort of methodical style of play. I think like he doesn't need to be a person who jumps out of the gym or like bodies people super hard. He just is always at the right place at the right time. And for me, I think the longer he spends with like our young players in the Raptors rotation, it's just going to make everybody better. And he's one of those guys that's like a general on defense. Like
totally. He's a wizard.
Oh yeah. And like, you don't have to be super young and athletic to make those like crazy passes that he does. Like he can really see the floor as well. And that's like so incredibly important in this modern NBA to be able to like back down but also see the floor enough to like kick out to your wings that are getting ready to shoot. So like, I think he's a super valuable piece, and we saw that in the playoffs when he locked down like,
oh my God,
the opposing team's like best players series after series. Like, sure,
it's
he's
incredible.
He's not an offensive threat like he was maybe very, very early on in his career, but he still is making plays. He's affecting shots, and he's making it hard for those like star players on the other teams to really catch fire. So I think maybe it's a bias because, you know, I'm a Raptors fan, but like,
hey, bring those bias. You're safe here.
He's a valuable piece, and I don't think we would have made it to the finals, let alone win the championship without Marc Gasol last year.
Yeah, no, I agree with like literally everything you said, and I think you know it's interesting you bring up his passing as it pertains to like him aging, because I think that's something that's, you know, he'll retire with his passing abilities. Like they're not going anywhere, and I think his game is so you know, independent of athleticism already, that I think basically he just has to kind of keep his like, you know, Dirk style creaking body going and he'll be effective and awesome. And, you know, I can't see him losing much strength. Mm-hmm. The only thing though is having him at 41, you know, this is a bit of a dull, I guess, counter to you, but I'm looking ahead and, at 42, and I was just kind of scrolling down, and I think 42 is probably just really good because there's 450 players in the NBA or more, and when I'm scrolling down, I'm not really finding a guy that jumps out as like, oh, Gasol is way better than him. There's a couple potential guys like, you know, Booker or Tatum. I'm seeing a little bit below him who are kind of like, you know, they need to get better to be better than Gasol. Maybe Steven Adams, but I think I kind of like him at 41. Cathryn, what are your feelings on Marc Gasol at 42?
I think 42 is a pretty decent spot. Like, I think there could be an argument to be made for him to be like slightly higher, but I don't know if he cracks like the top 30. Like, I think when like a few things
top
really
30
great.
looks really good. Like, sorry.
No, that's okay. I mean, I think a few really good things about Gasol are like very difficult to measure. Like we talked about his passing and stuff like that, like, and just his court vision, if you will. And one thing I really love about Gasol is that he's not one of those centers that like constantly needs the ball. Like you always hear about centers like needing so many touches and this, that, and the other, and the ball has to go through him. And he is not that guy at all. And he's really evolved his game. And I think like all those things are what make him so great, but that's like really hard to put in numbers and paper, like on a ranking.
Yeah, I heard it was like a kind of like a Sports View podcast. You know how those like every arena has like all those cameras and it's like so decked out to like measure like, okay, you know, DeRozan was here, but Ghost DeRozan was here and he would have stopped the play. Like it's all that kind of stuff. And they were talking about like what they're able to quantify and just how difficult it is to quantify defense. And particularly like when you're a big, you see each play. And Gasol for the longest time has notoriously been, and, you know, and Draymond, just like a master at calling out the other team's play. So he makes everyone in front of him better on defense all the time. And that's not even really something that's measured. And he's talking constantly. So yeah, I mean, I'm just basically adding another thing to the Gasol underappreciated kind of well.
But like I'm looking at this list right now, and Steven Adams is ranked higher than Gasol, and I don't agree with that.
Yeah, it's funny. Like even though I was like, there's no one who jumps out to me, I was looking right at Steven Adams when I said that, and I was like, I think he's better than Steven. Steven Adams is strong,
yeah,
but he's nowhere near as smart or as like effective. Like if you put, you know, Adams, you swapped him out like kind of what you were saying with we needed Gasol to win the championship. Imagine him in that Philly series, and he wouldn't have had as much success against Embiid.
Oh, no.
Period.
Does Steven Adams have a 3? Can he shoot?
No, not at all.
Oh,
not at all.
There you go. Yeah,
I mean, that's a whole other thing. Like Gasol is like, I think, you know, you have to really, he's similarly to Lowry, you kind of just got to keep digging because it gets better and better and better. And he's not someone that gets exposed the more you look into the intricacies of his game.
But also like leadership too, like
totally.
And yeah, and during that series and during the Philadelphia series, I think I like had read an article or like a tweet or something like that was talking about how when him and Serge were on the floor together, they would speak Spanish.
I know.
And I was like, oh, that's so badass. Like,
so cool.
And like to be able to call out another team's plays in Spanish.
Serge speaks French with Pascal, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's fun.
Like, I feel like that's like just another like sort of, so I don't know if it's like Achilles heel of other teams.
It's just cool.
It's like a cool like arrow to have in your quiver to be able to like pull out when you least expect it.
Gasol, he's got a rooftop garden. He's like saving refugees in the Mediterranean. And he chugs rose wine.
Yeah.
Like, why anyone?
This is the Confederacy of Gasol podcast.
Yeah. Anytime someone's like, oh, we should trade Gasol, I'm like, you mean the living legend? What are you talking about?
During the Raptors parade, I like was looking at the back of the bus after everybody was like driving past, and then like Marc Gasol catches like a tall can of beer, crushes it, and then I see I see like this other post like later on. And that's when he was chugging that wine bottle that just looked like a little bottle of beer in his hand, and I was like, this guy is amazing.
He's cool.
I got into the rosé this summer. I don't know how he does it.
Okay, we just got a little bit of a glimpse into Matt's life.
The intangibles, the rose.
And I'm picturing, Matt at his cottage, firing that air gun, passed out near a fire, you know what I mean? Just rose, gin, spilling all over.
It's a nasty hangover, that's all I'll say.
How does he do it? So sweet.
Let's keep going here with stick with you, Cathryn. So again, we take another big jump. Gasol is 42. And Kyle, our boy, is 28. How do you feel about that? How does that sit with you? 28th in the NBA next year.
I'm just so used to Kyle Lowry being underrated that I just expect it now.
Right.
Like, it's just so, I don't know. And I mean, it's very similar to what we were talking about with Gasol. It's like all the little things that Kyle does that makes him so great. But it's like, it's just so typical. That's all I really have to say. It's so typical. I think Kyle Lowry should be ranked higher. I mean, he was the starting point guard on a team that just won the NBA championship. He proved everybody wrong. Everybody was all like, oh, this guy doesn't perform in the playoffs. And then that game 6 had like over 20 points and just did like everything we ever needed him to do. And I'm just over people underestimating him. But then I'm also like, you know what? That's fine. Maybe just keep underestimating him and then he'll just keep proving you wrong. And that'll be great.
So I'm totally with you. And I'm going to, before I jump to Antony here, I agree. Kyle is better than 28th. And I think it'll be a bit of a fun exercise. I'm going to scroll down a bit and like, we'll see if we agree on the players he's better than. But Antony, how you feeling about 28? It's okay if you're like, it's okay. You know what I'm saying?
It's
like, it doesn't always have to be a love-in.
God, that's really tough. Maybe it's time for my hot take. I think it's a bit high.
Ooh, okay.
Oh, baby.
I'm just looking at some players that he's ranked above. And
Donovan Mitchell.
He's certainly...
Doncic.
Yeah, Doncic is better than Kyle.
DeRozan is interesting to me.
DeMar. Okay, there's an argument there, but like... It's like
CJ McCollum.
CJ, yeah.
Yep.
Oh, De'Aaron Fox is a bit high. Okay, that's a...
They really, this list really prioritizes, like they try and guess breakout years.
Yeah.
So like for me, Fox is going to have a breakout year, but it's going to be like 65th.
Right.
Or 60th or something. Like De'Aaron Fox is just, he's what kind of clouds the number. Like I didn't even go down this far because I think Gasol's going to have a better season than De'Aaron Fox. Okay.
But I would counter argue, if you will, that Lowry could have, well, not necessarily a breakout year, but a very good year in Kawhi's absence.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because like all these guys are going to step up and all of them have talked about like having something to prove. And I think Kyle's going to be a big part of that. So if you factor that into the equation, then that's something. But I mean, when we start talking about other players in the league being like over or underrated in this list, like I think CJ McCollum and Donovan Mitchell they should be higher.
Yeah, Mitchell seems kind of low just because I think he's going to be on a really, really good team.
Yeah.
But
I think he might be he's not the best player on the team. He's close though.
Yeah, I mean, well, Gobert
is the best player.
Yeah,
on the team.
But between him and Conley, it's kind of like pretty tight, I think.
Yeah. Conley's ranked higher than him on this list.
Conley is higher than him on this list. Yeah. And Conley's a criminally underrated guy as well, but let's just do the Kyle dance for a bit. So for me right away, I see Chris Middleton and I'm like, Kyle, he just does more.
Yeah.
He does more, period. Like kind of like Cathryn said, we had, what was that? Like 17-4 without Kawhi or whatever. And it's like, that's contextual. Some of that was with JV, et cetera, et cetera. But I think Kyle, he's going to be a floor general this year. He's going to have 8 assists easily. He's probably going to score, I would say a minimum 14 points. He's going to hit a lot of threes. He's going to take charges. I think maybe if, again, I didn't read the blurb and it might be kind of like, he played 65 games last year. So if you're kind of like, all right, Kyle, came off a championship year, had a surgery in his thumb. What if that's 50 games instead of 65? Then all of a sudden, this 28 is looking a little more reasonable. But but Cathryn, me and you are both kind of in agreement that he should be higher. So what do you feel about Middleton? Am I in the right spot there? Like, do you think Kyle's better?
It's hard to say because I feel like Chris Middleton needed to do more for his team. Mm-hmm. But I don't have like the numbers in front of me, but I wasn't like overly impressed with Chris Middleton in his series against us.
Yeah, I thought he was like pretty good. Brogdon was the guy.
Oh yeah,
really impressed me. Other than Giannis,
was way better than Chris Middleton.
Yeah, so I feel like there was a bit of a playoff letdown there that I think would naturally affect his overall ranking.
Right.
But again, like he had to do so much more for his team during the regular season that it's kind of hard to say. But I would put Kyle in front of Chris, but then I would also put Donovan Mitchell and McCullough in front of him. So I don't know. Maybe I'm just really low on Chris Middleton right now.
Right. Especially after the FIBA fiasco that we'll get into later.
Oh yeah, we'll get into. Yeah, he didn't really show out. And other guys are like Conley. Conley and Kyle Lowry have been like almost like that Spider-Man meme of each other for the last like 4 years.
That's true.
They've really similarly they're just multi-talented. They're underrated. They're good on defense. They don't really have holes in their game. Then there's like Drew Holiday.
Kyle Lowry is better than Drew Holiday.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Kyle's better than Drew. He just straight up is. Like,
yes, straight up.
Drew Holiday has had some nice moments in the last couple of years, but it's like, even if you're factoring in, Zion and the new Pelican situation, it's
Lonzo Ball is better than Drew Holiday. Don't at me.
Okay. Okay. I will at you because we're right beside each other. But yeah. Okay. I think we can move on to the last Raptor on the list. Antony, I'll start with you.
Okay.
Spicy P, our boy Pascal Siakam is at 24. He went from not being on the list to top 25 in the NBA. How do you feel about it?
Well deserved,
right?
Well deserved. He is amazing. And in this list here, it talks about like Kyle Lowry being the perfect point guard to complement a superstar. And in my mind, I was like, is there a superstar that he's going to be complimenting? And then I was like, yes, it's Spicy P.
Yeah,
he's our superstar now.
He's incredible. And for me, there's one guy who we'll get to later in the podcast, but I think, Spicy, I mean, you can make a couple arguments, like kind of like nitpicky arguments for who he should be better than. I do find it interesting that Ben Simmons is right in front of him because I actually think people need to start thinking of Siakam on that type of trajectory. Mm-hmm. Like a guy who's going to be a powerhouse in the league for a long time.
Right.
I think people, I don't know. I guess maybe, Pascal's just such a late round draft pick.
I want to see Ben Simmons make a 3-point shot. Then you tell me that he's better than Pascal Siakam.
Yeah. I mean, Ben Simmons has some serious holes. Like, I think I like Ben Simmons, but yeah, like I think he's fairly properly ranked, but, yeah, I mean, we'll get to more of that. How are you feeling, Cathryn, about Siakam at 24?
Siakam at 24 again, well deserved. It's good that he cracked the top 25. I think that's accurate. And we'll see. Like, I think this time next year he's going to be even higher on the list. Like, I'm trying to have this balance with Siakam of having like high expectations, but also like without putting, I don't know, unfair pressure on him, if that makes sense. Like,
I'm in the same boat. Like, I think the sky is the absolute limit for Pascal. I think, we'll see how his career progresses as a number one option. Should be really interesting. But yeah, I don't really see when I think of something that he won't be able to do, just not really anything. Like, I mean, yes, he's probably a couple massive leaps away from being an MVP candidate.
Right.
But at the same time, when I think about the steps that are in sight, like All-Star, All-NBA, I'm like, those are next year.
Yes.
So then once we're there, then it's like, okay, wait, what are we talking? Second team All-NBA? Like, I think I mean, who knows? We'll see how he does next year and like see if he starts to kind of crest in that maybe like 15 to 20 spot. But I don't think doubting Pascal is going to work for anyone, really.
And like straight up, like I have never been more excited to watch a player hit the floor, and like every time like Kyle Lowry would grab a rebound.
Oh yeah.
And like just seeing like Pascal run for
like
touchdown passes, like
totally.
It's absolutely amazing. And like, oh my God, like next season's going to be super exciting. Regardless.
Anyone who's a Raptors fan has been talking about Pascal all year. All summer, sorry, but like, I think what excites me the most about him is that, he's got a signature move where, he's like a one man fast break. And then he's also got all these like these crazy, like McHale's, his 2.0.
His NBA 2K badges are going to be out of this world.
Yes. I gotta bring you on more often for like an NBA 2K report. All my PlayStation games are weird side scrolling puzzles that I play with my wife. They're good games. Listen, like Unraveled. Check it out, okay? You're a ball of yarn and you run around Scandinavia, stopping climate change. Cheers. My point with Pascal was that, he's got all these crazy offensive developments that are amazing, but he's still a better defender than he is on offense. Like, he's such a complete player. Cathryn, anything else on Siakam before I move on to omissions?
Yeah, I mean, just to add to all the other things that excite me about Siakam is the fact that he started playing basketball like 7 years ago.
Yeah.
Like the game comes so naturally to him. Like it's just incredible. So yeah, I'm very excited.
I want him to like have a move that he calls the priest. You know what I mean?
Why?
I don't know, because he was going to become a priest.
Yeah.
So, or like, I want him to like, if he dunks over someone, just to like quickly bless them or something like that.
Wait,
you know
he's actually becoming a priest?
He was about to. That's his whole story. He's about to become a priest, and there's one basketball net. I walked by it, just looked at it, and knew I was amazing.
Oh, wow.
Sorry, that's like, I condensed the story and made it silly, but.
Oh my God, he should definitely retire first before becoming a priest. He should really enjoy his life.
Yes.
Oh, no, wait, sorry.
Oh, no, yeah, this is before he got into basketball.
This is hilarious.
Yeah.
I'm confused. No, he's not still going to become a priest.
No. I'm just saying if he wants to do that still.
Oh, like
he
it's
retires.
Like it's never too late to become a priest?
It's never too late to become a priest based on what I know, which is literally nothing about becoming a priest.
You'll love this, Cathryn. Nurse, if you're listening, Nick Nurse, it's never too late to pick up a guitar. and Pascal, it's never too late to get that rosary humming, because you can become a priest in your retirement.
Yeah,
exactly.
Like don't do it immediately, because that has happened to pro athletes, especially in the NFL. There was this running back who played for the San Francisco 49ers, Glenn Coffey. He had like a pretty decent like breakout season, and then the next season he was like, I found God, I'm becoming a priest. So like, honestly, he retired super early, and like obviously the NFL takes a much bigger toll on your body. But
sorry, just while you were saying that, Anthony, that reminded me. You want to know who just did that? Was Darren Collison. He retired at 31.
That's right, yeah.
Oh, right. To basically like live full time at his church. That's not weird at all, right? Okay, that's probably a bit mean spirited, but okay, can we all agree who the giant omission from this list is?
Lonzo Ball.
Oh my God. No, wait, no, the Raptors omission.
Fred VanVleet.
Fred, right?
Yeah.
Am I insane? Like,
he's not on that list at all?
Fred is not in the top 100 at all. Wow. Let me read you a couple of the the guys in the 90s where it's like, oh my goodness, you got to be kidding me. And
DeAndre Jordan.
Yeah, there's a healthy amount of people where you're like, this is silly. Like, even if you're thinking that Kyle plays a lot of minutes and
Joe Harris.
Oh my God. Okay, so
Beef
like
Jerky Joe.
we got Terrence Ross, we got DeAndre Jordan, Kyle Kuzma. That's a disgrace to have above Fred.
Yes.
Right? Joe Harris, come on, give me a break. Dejounte Murray,
Bam.
Bam, he's one of those guys where it's like, okay, ton more opportunity. I get it. So, but still, he's not better than Fred. He's not more effective. He's not going to, contribute to winning in the same way. And, Derek White and
Zach LaVine is 90. And I think that Fred VanVleet is better than Zach LaVine.
Yeah, Zach, I mean, Zach's also, I don't know. I'm not all the way with you, but I'm half the way with you, if that makes sense. I think Zach LaVine and Wiggins, and I'll get into this later, but high volume scorers, they don't get any love on this list. And I think that's kind of not really fair because it's a huge responsibility. And, it's easier to be, as we were talking about before, an Al Farouk Aminu, who shoots like 5 times a game versus Zach LaVine, who's like, okay, you got to run X amount of pick and rolls and da-da-da. But just for the sake of like, Fred's honor, hell yeah, Fred's better than Zach LaVine.
Like is it like more valuable to be like the best player on a crappy team or to like be maybe like the third or fourth best player who carried the playoff series on an amazing team?
Yeah. I mean, Cathryn, chime in here. Are you as upset as us that our boy FVV is getting done dirty like this?
I mean, I don't know if he should be ranked instead of Zach LaVine, but I do think he should have made the list. But I mean, like if you've not made it, like you're a player in the NBA and you're not on this top 100 and you're looking at that list and you're like, if I were a point guard, I would be like, Wiggins, I am coming for you. I'm going to kick your ass so hard. Like I would have these guys like on a kill list.
Oh, okay. So Cathryn's saying,
like, I would come ready for all these guys.
I like that. Yeah, it was a bit of a light conversation, and we're at, I don't know, like minute 31 or so, and that's when the words kill list.
Yeah, the kill list has come out.
So this is good. If you made it this far in the pod, it's kill list time. Right?
Yeah, definitely.
Sorry,
I think it's
was that really too intense?
No,
it was the right amount of intense.
I think it was a compliment to Fred VanVleet. Because they know what his whole story is, and they're like, you know what? It's better for him to not be on this list, so that when he gets on, top 10.
Yeah.
Ooh. Top 10. That's like Ace Ventura, like Jim Carrey. Like I wrote myself $1 million check. You know what I mean?
Top 10.
Fred is just like, basically, he's like, oh my God, did you guys know Fred is $1 billion in debt? Like he's really betting on himself. Like, oh my goodness, Fred. Okay, let's move on here. Just kind of like some faster raps questions. Cathryn, let's go to you here first. This is a bit of a thought exercise, I think, but it's a fun kind of question. So during Masai's tenure, it's obviously just been greatness. But if we're trying to find what maybe he did wrong or got lucky by or whatever, what would you say is Masai Ujiri's worst move as a Raptors GM? So this doesn't include anything he did with the Nuggets.
Oh, because I was going to say the Nuggets were probably where he made his mistakes.
Yeah, no, I know. Because the easy one there is that, what is it? He signed Nene to a huge ass contract.
Oh,
yeah. Or is McGee? Anyways, he made a couple of boo-boos in Denver.
Right. You got to make those mistakes.
But honestly, no worries. That's Denver, right?
It's Denver.
But is there anything that, looking back on or even at the time, you're kind of like, I don't think so.
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously, like, I think there are some moves where you can be like, wow, Masai got lucky that really worked out. But one that I guess that comes to mind that didn't work out would be DeMarre Carroll.
Yes.
I think that's probably easily the number one.
Right.
That is the easy number one. I really tried to think and tried to be kind of like strategic about like how, what mistake, this led to that, but it's like, it's DeMarre Carroll. 4-year, $15 million a year contract. He came off that big season with Atlanta and seemed good.
Yeah.
But it didn't pan out at all.
No.
No.
Sorry, did I cut you off, Cathryn?
No, not at all. And it's one of those signings where like it seemed cool at the time.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, totally.
But it wasn't like we were all upset the second it happened, but then it just, didn't pan out.
Antony, do you got, is there any other Masai mistakes?
I mean, I think we talked about this earlier before we started recording, but letting go of the player who was a part of the most iconic picture in Toronto playoffs history and letting him sign with Valencia Basket in the Spanish league.
Yeah.
The hype
Man in suit.
Man in suit. Jordan Lloyd.
Hell yeah.
That's a mistake.
Wait, he got let go?
Yeah, he got waived. He's going to be playing in
I'm
Spain
with you,
next year.
Anthony.
Bullshit.
Let's pour one out for Jordan Lloyd.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Masai, how dare you?
He was underrated. I think he helped in the practice squad during the Golden State series.
Oh yeah, he mimicked all of the stars. He was
he mimicked,
pretending to be Embiid. He was
and
pretending
Steph
to be
Curry.
Giannis and Steph. He was incredible. It was cool.
I think it's going to be a loss, and he's a pretty hype guy on the sidelines. And every team has those glue guys and guys that dance around whenever baskets get made.
The Bazemores.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
you need your Bazemores.
oh, what was that guy's name? He played for Rob Sacre.
Oh yes, Sacre. Yeah.
That guy was a big time.
I think he was Canadian.
I think he's Canadian as well. Big time sideline hype guy,
Hey, those guys are important, man.
glue guy.
I don't know. This Jordan thing could be that might be worse than Damari Carroll.
No. The real answer for sure is Damari Carroll.
Yes.
Yeah. My fun answer is signing Bruno and then also letting Bruno go.
Oh yeah.
It's a double whammy because that's you're living in the middle of Masai's ego.
I think it's also when he stole Red Panda's bike.
Wait, Masai's the one who did that? Son of a gun.
I saw him riding it down Bloor Street in the bike
If
lane.
Masai, just beside Batista on the scooter. It's like Batista at the home run. Wait, why is Masai there with red pandas? Okay, this is a bit silly now. Okay, wait. Let's actually keep it silly, and I'm gonna open this up to everyone. So Matt, I'm gonna start with you here.
Oh boy.
Danny Green won't go home.
What do you mean?
Why is that? Danny Green is just the sightings all over Canada. At Calumet, Danny Green. Yukon, Danny Green. Canada's Wonderland, Danny Green.
TIFF parties.
TIFF parties, Danny Green. Hanging out with Jagmeet Singh and Justin Trudeau, Danny Green.
Yeah.
Not hanging out with Andrew Scheer. You better believe it's Danny Green.
Yeah.
And so he literally is still in Canada doing things. So I'm wondering why won't he go home? Matt, you got to have an answer.
Well, I think he's going to the Lakers, and this is going to be the first time in his career that he's not playing with Kawhi. He's going to be.
He did. He had a bunch of years early in his career.
That's right. Yeah, he wasn't always on San Antonio, but he's that's a major hornet's nest. It's going to be crazy. The spotlight's going to be hot, and I think he's.
Oh, so he's doing a bit of self love.
Yeah,
bit of self care
before he gets. Okay. He's going to get scarred a little bit. I think out there. He's a vet. He's gonna. It's going to be tough, and being in LeBron's dressing room. It's the guy just trademarked Taco Tuesday.
That's right.
And he's coming for casual Friday.
Did you just say Taco Tuesday?
Oh, yeah.
Buddy.
Damn it.
I haven't signed up with Patreon yet.
I'll bleep it out. I'll bleep it out.
Okay, Anthony, why won't Danny Green go home? Or why won't Danny Green go to the Lakers? Why is he still chilling in Canada?
Well, I don't know. Maybe he is.
Sorry, he's welcome, by the way.
Maybe he's campaigning for Elizabeth May and the Green Party.
Wow. Okay.
Oh, he's gonna hit Hassan Minaj. He's gonna hit Trudeau and jug me with some hard questions.
Wow.
He'd be I was really excited to win a championship here, but why do you think that you can do pipelines and climate change at the same time?
Yeah.
Trudeau.
In reality, when this question was posted in the thread before we started recording, I thought you meant like, why didn't he go to the Knicks or the Brooklyn Nets? Because he's from like Long Island.
I just mean, why is the man touring around?
Oh no, like
is he a spot in Brampton, Markham? Like, man,
Yes.
this guy was on the Lindsay, Ontario go-karts.
Yeah.
Opening day.
I was prepared.
I'm just kidding, but he's very much around.
Yeah, I was like prepared for some hot takes about why he wouldn't want to play on the New York Knicks or even the Brooklyn Nets. But now it's just like, like he's just having a great time.
Okay.
He's enjoying his life before people rag on him on Instagram and Twitter for like missing 3-point shots.
Okay, so you guys are in the mental health.
Yeah.
Keeping himself safe.
Was he in Jasper? Did you see that beautiful lake?
Oh, you better believe he was in Jasper.
Crystal clear
He was
water.
picketing. He had a picket sign of Fort Mac.
Oh my God.
Yeah, he was at Fort McMurray, and he said, "You can't take all this sand out of the ground, boys."
Oh my God.
No, but
never did I think my home province would get shouted out in a basketball podcast.
oh, we gotta. But Cathryn, why won't Danny Green go home? What's going on?
Buyer's remorse, baby.
I like that. That's actually what I think.
Yeah, he's full of regret.
Yeah.
I just picture him.
Yes.
I mean, in my mind, in my fantasy, he's filled with regret, so much remorse, really wishes he just stayed. The Lakers, it's going to be so toxic. It's going to be such a shit show. And then he's just going to be this vet surrounded by other vet egos. And I mean, it's him and Rondo. I don't know.
Yeah.
Sorry to make it real.
No,
I don't.
Yeah.
I'm like,
I
in my mind,
agree
I'm like,
with you.
that'd be so much fun if he was hanging out with Elizabeth May, but I don't think he actually knows who that is.
Okay,
But what'd be really fun? Elizabeth
doubt
May,
that, though. Yeah.
is always, she does like she swims like every day.
Okay.
And there's like a pool at like the Chateau Laurier, like next to Parliament. and
Okay,
she
you
goes
know a
swimming
bit too
there all the
much. Go
time.
on.
And it would be really funny if he was just like swimming with her.
Right.
Wow.
They were
then-
like swim buddies.
And would that be
Summertime
funny?
swim buddies.
Sorry, would that be funny because you'd give Danny Green the Elizabeth May swimming schedule? What's going on, Cathryn?
Yeah, I have the schedule. It's just a fun fact I've learned.
That'd be a
over
big time
the years.
episode of the Danny Green podcast where he has the leader of the Green Party as well, and then just asked her like point blank, like, "Will you rename the party the Danny Green Party?"
Oh wow.
And she's like, honestly, yes. and
That is for sure a question Harrison would think up.
Oh yeah. Okay, before we move on here, I feel like I was ripping on.
Before I shit on Harrison more.
You shit on Harrison all day. It's all good. He's a really nice man or whatever. But
I'm sure he's great.
Oh yeah, he's probably great. But take a big dump on him if you need to. Listen, we're riffing at the
I don't
Griffin
think
over
he's
here on
the
the pod.
best interviewer. I'm sorry.
No,
But
it's
he
great.
seems lovely.
I'm like top notch, so yeah, that's how I look at other interviewers.
Right.
But I will say this: Cathryn's really good at breaking news here. Like we wouldn't know that Nurse was. Nurse had a baby in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Like basically 2 or 3 days later than Fred.
Yeah.
I think it was the same
without
day.
you.
No,
Or
same day, yeah.
Yes.
It was the exact same
My
day.
God. Okay, y'all want to talk some NBA or what?
Yeah.
Okay, Maddie, would you give me that NBA sting?
National Basketball Association.
Oh. What's that? Party in the fog in the harbor?
This is Adam Silver.
He's here.
Wait. Okay. No. No, you don't. Okay? You can't preface your sound effects. That's never been part of the deal. You can never. What do you say? There's too much detail there. Do you say harbor party in the fog?
Oh no, who's that in the harbor parting the fog?
Oh my God.
It's Adam Silver in his tugboat.
Wow.
I love
Parting the
this. I
fog.
think all your stings should be poetry.
See?
So
Yeah.
funny. That's amazing.
Yeah, please come to Confederacy of Dunks for the spoken word foghorn sound effects.
I'm waiting for the full haiku episode.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah.
NBA haikus.
I gotta write my vows. I'm in that mode right now.
Yeah, buddy, whip up some vows. Matt's getting married in 2 weeks. Whip up some vows and throw in some sound effects, bud.
Matt, do you think Danny Green will come to your wedding if we invite him?
Oh, it's
Man.
on that's up at Lake. No, it's not Lake Simcoe.
Magnetawan, yeah, it's up north. But yeah, that's another place you need
Hands
to stay.
down, he'll be there.
Get one of the T-shirts.
Oh yeah,
Love that.
Danny's gonna show up with a backup generator.
Oh, we could use that.
You know what I mean? Danny's gonna be like, this party ain't
Oh
stopped.
my god.
Okay. Let's go to Anthony first here.
Is it FIBA time?
It's FIBA time. Woo! So we were down to the Final Four, but obviously the biggest story is that France beat Team USA.
Oh, my
Gobert
goodness.
it was a block party.
Wow.
Frankie Ntilikina, aka Frankie Smokes.
Frankie Smokes.
He was popping off. Fournier was hitting threes. I thought I saw in the highlights a bit of a hunched over Batum doing clever things. So,
Is Tony Parker in there?
I didn't
No?
see any Tony highlights,
Yeah.
but
I
I
don't
wouldn't
believe so.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think he was there. So yeah, I'll just jump to you. This is a big deal, even though it's, whatever, USA C squad. Anytime the States loses in international competition, it's massive,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
People are going to try and underplay this, but they're not going to medal. They're not in the Final Four. That's massive.
Right. And I think it's primarily because they bet on a lot of Celtics players and
I know.
the Celtics players sucked.
Oh, baby.
Oh, ding, ding, ding,
You know
ding.
what?
I got your heart.
Ding, ding, ding. My heart lit up. I won't say anything else. Cathryn, how are you feeling about FIBA, Team USA, whatever?
Oh, I completely agree. Kemba Walker at the end, he had 3 free throws and he only hit one of them.
Right.
And I was like, this is great news for us as Raptor fans, or just if you're not a Celtics fan, because it's like, this guy is missing free throws under pressure. This is great. This is great.
But I mean, I know we're just slamming on the Celtics now, but don't worry about the Celtics. They're going to be starting Grant Williams. So I'm pretty sure
I'm
they're headed straight towards 50
generally
wins.
not
Oh
overly
my
worried.
God. Really?
Yeah.
Grant
they
Williams?
don't have any bigs. Their bigs are Gordon Hayward, Enes Kanter, and Grant Williams. And
What about Robert Williams?
I don't even know who that is. You know what I mean? And I'm obsessed with basketball. Wow. So Robert Williams, if you're significant or relevant, I do apologize. Yeah, I mean, it's fun. So the semifinal matchup here is Argentina, which hilariously enough still has Luis Scola playing. Woo, and he's ripping it up. Scola is 300 years old.
Oh, yeah.
And he's ripping teams. So we got Argentina versus France and Spain versus Australia. So, we get to see Mark, he keeps putting in work. Marc Gasol versus Bogut. That's going to be basically a staring contest.
Yeah.
No one's moving there.
And Dellavedova, and we get to see FIBA Patty Mills. Oh my God, Patty Mills.
FIBA Patty popping.
Woo.
Yeah. So I don't know. Is there anything else you guys want to say about FIBA? That obviously the Bruno block on Giannis was nice.
Oh, that was so awesome.
Yeah, super disheartening as a Canada fan,
right?
Obviously, but we've touched on that a lot on this podcast, and we'll reflect on that disappointment a bit more later. But Cathryn, you got anything on FIBA or Team USA or anything?
Not really. I mean, I think this obviously it's a great win for France, and it'll definitely give them confidence and all that leading into next year. But I mean, they're going to be playing against a completely different squad. So
yeah,
I know you said earlier, people are going to try and downplay this, but yeah, I think in the grand scheme of things, this doesn't mean that much, unfortunately.
Sorry. Just to clarify, yes, 100%. This does deserve to be downplayed as far as the U.S. not being the best in the world, because when all the big guns come out, they're obviously the best in the world.
Right.
But I just mean even beating them in this type of tournament with their C squad is still significant.
Totally.
And
you know what I
Donovan
mean?
Mitchell is killing it And I feel like it was kind of cool to see him and Gobert go against each other. And I hope Donovan Mitchell has a spot on the team next year because I feel like he's really earned it.
Mm-hmm. He's a guy I could definitely see retaining that spot because I also feel like his like individual growth is going to be pretty significant in the next year. So he'll actually kind of like be on pace to make the big squad. Right. I don't know who I can kind of think about from this current team who I feel like would also make the big squad.
Tatum, maybe.
Tatum, if he like really, really improves. But you got to remember, that's like, if Kawhi wants to play or LeBron or PG, it's stacked up there. So, it'll be hard for Tatum to make the list.
But Donovan Mitchell had a wicked game. Like he was probably the only person on Team USA down the stretch that like played well.
He looked good. And like, just from random highlights, I thought Miles Turner looked pretty good.
Yeah.
He was blocking everything in sight and he's a guy you can shoot the three.
The FIBA three.
The FIBA three, good point. But he can shoot the NBA three as well.
Right.
But yeah, I think, he had that mellow kind of like, he's on fire. And it's like, well, from a bit closer. Okay, that's a bad joke.
I also like just watching like the FIBA games, like that camera angle that we don't have for the NBA. I feel like I don't know what is exactly different about it, but it kind of looks more like parallel to like where like the audience would be sitting.
Right.
And it like makes all of the NBA players actually like look true to size. So you're like, whoa, these guys are huge.
Yeah, I enjoy FIBA for that. Like where it's just like, oh man, like watching basketball being played at a high level a bit differently. The audience interaction's different. It's just kind of exciting to see like, oh man, like basketball for the longest time was like such a, like everything American culture wise, like dominates basketball. It still does, obviously. But I think as basketball rises around the world, we're going to see all different types of basketball more and more and more. And yeah, watching FIBA, even just like, how they were elevated and kind of like the audience sat like the NCAA.
Yeah.
It was cool.
And I hope that FIBA doesn't ban that ninja style headband so that
I know they never would.
So they never would. So that it makes more NBA players want to play in the tournament.
Imagine that for the Olympics. Apparently everyone can wear the ninja headbands, and it's just like our whole squad's up.
Yeah,
like Murray, Wiggins. The all Team Canada's like, what'd you say about the headbands?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's. Oh, you know what? Let me pull up some KD stuff.
Oh,
but we got to talk KD. I was saying he's, he really thinks about this podcast and other podcasts. And he's giving us all sorts of material.
Oh, KD listens to the podcast.
There's no way that our one bad review isn't a KD burner account.
Oh yeah, for sure.
There's no way. Because
it totally is.
KD was injured, right? Debating, should I come back? Should I not come back? And he was like, when is the next Confederacy of Dunks coming out?
He didn't really try to hide his name. It's like Kevin 4525.
That's right. Wow.
Exactly. You're better than
him.
We're not like top. We're not top of the pop, right? NBA podcasts. See, we're headed there, but we're not there yet. But KD, he thought he didn't have to cover himself. I bet you Colangelo's slamming our pod too.
Oh my God.
Talking about his collars popping. Oh, make my collar taller. You know what I mean? Find a different slant, Freddie and Matt. But let's. I guess I'll pull up some of the quotes and stuff, but I also kind of like can paraphrase them a little bit, which is dangerous because I think the whole KD thing, anyways, it's like. I'm going to guarantee 80% of anyone reacting to these quotes has not read the full article, is willing to take it out of context. And, this is kind of the era we're living in where everything's like pull quotes, right? You pull out the most kind of like salacious, sentence of anyone or whatever. And you're like, oh, this guy. But, some of it is intriguing, obviously. So, Anthony, is there anything that kind of jumped out to you, or what jumped out to you from this KD kind of like interview?
I think if we're talking about the same quotes, him calling the OKC fans toxic and like and being like, I was going to come back, but you guys are too mean to me. I was like, oh, that's a bit much.
Yeah, like here's like with that was one of those things, like all of these quotes have like shreds of truth. Yeah. And then also like, I don't believe you. Because the one is like, so many players complain about Oklahoma City. Nobody wants to live there. It's so small. The fans are not great. As far as like, the way they, I'll just call it like people, refer to Utah and Oklahoma's fans as the most racist fans.
Right.
They do.
But like, what do you expect Kevin Durant for like ditching Westbrook?
Yes.
And ring chasing. Like,
see that's where I'm like, yeah, like all of his quotes have like this like slight tinge of truth, but without any accountability. So it's kind of like, well, they didn't treat me well at OKC. It's like, well, they were going to be mad. And also, you were never going to go back.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that's a weird part of this quote that just seems really disingenuous.
Yeah, like don't try to turn it on them.
Yeah.
Because we all know you're not going to sign the max.
Yeah.
In OKC.
Cathryn, I'll jump to you. Is there, maybe the same quote, or is there another quote that kind of jumped out to you?
Well, I'll comment on the same one, and that's just like, I don't know. I just feel like Kevin Durant is just like so genuine. It's an issue.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like he just doesn't know how to like keep some of these thoughts to himself.
He has no poker face.
Yeah. The fans there aren't great. Yeah. He has no poker face at all. Like he's too pure.
How you doing, KD?
And
Pretty good, but I got the runs. Okay. Sorry.
Yeah. I just feel like, yeah, okay, the OKC fans, like they might not be great, but also like, you're talking about a fan base that deals with rumors about you leaving for an entire year and then you leave. So it's like, totally. I don't know.
No,
I don't think they handled it significantly worse than any other fan base deals with that.
Cleveland went bonkers when LeBron came back. Like when LeBron was with Miami and he played in Cleveland, it was
exactly.
Like, it was like security detail all around.
Yeah.
Like, mm-hmm. A couple things stand out to me. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, like, overall, like, Kevin Durant always does this thing where he's like, oh, I don't like how the NBA's like this, or I don't like the circus of it, and, oh, the media gets to me, blah, blah, blah. But then it's like, you're telling this to the media.
I know.
So it's like a part of you kind of loves it, though.
And we're just going to jump to the next KD quote. We'll move on from the OKC stuff. But yeah, go for it, Anthony.
Yeah, so Durant was talking about leaving the Warriors, and he was saying, like, I came in there wanting to be a part of a group, wanting to be part of a family, and definitely felt accepted, but I'll never be one of those guys. I didn't get drafted there.
I mean,
okay.
It's like, that's one of those things where it's like, yeah, we know.
Yeah.
But you also like won a couple rings.
Yeah.
It's weird with KD. It's kind of like, yeah, I mean, I think I'm sticking with what I said earlier. It's like everything has like a piece of truth and zero accountability.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like you chose to go there.
Yeah.
You knew that was the situation when you left the place where you were drafted. You won a couple rings. Like, it seems like you're unhappy with your choice, but you're kind of reframing it as like not being accepted. And it's kind of like you weren't one of them, though.
Right. And
you weren't drafted.
He's like talking about Iguodala as well, being like he was there when they won the first finals, and the rest of the guys kind of rehabilitated their careers there. And he was like, how are they going to rehabilitate me? Like, what are you going to teach me? Like, how can you alter anything in my basketball life? I've got an MVP already. I got scoring titles. And then it says in the article, as time goes on, he says he started to realize he's just different from the rest of the guys. And it's not a bad thing. Just his circumstances.
There's so much I want to break down.
Go
here.
for it, Cathryn. We're giving you the floor.
Mm-hmm. To me, this is so classic. Like, you don't have to be best friends with everyone you work with. You know what I mean? Like just think about like in any job setting, it's like you just have to be able to work together. But he was like, oh, like I came in, like he used the term family, but I'm pretty sure he meant like a best friend. Mm-hmm. I came in here hoping everyone would be my best friend, but they all kind of had their friendships already. So it was kind of like, oh, I don't know. And it's like, it's exactly what anybody thought it would be.
Yeah.
And then just like the whole,
and it was successful too. You won 2 rings,
and just the whole like I wasn't drafted there, and just establishing all this stuff that we already know, like before you even go there, before you even sign with them. Like I remember, not just to make a very long story short.
No,
I dated a guy for a few months, and then we broke up, and he blamed it on the fact that he lived in Hamilton and I lived in Toronto, and I was like, but you knew that.
Yeah.
You knew that.
You knew that. Like, it just reminds me of Kevin Durant. I'm sure, like, he hated me for other reasons, but, like, that's the reason he gave me.
Yeah, you're like, don't blame this on the city of waterfalls. You know what I mean? Like, don't you slam the, like, escarpment, okay? I've been to the Devil's Punch Bowl in Dundas. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's so that. Like, if I were a Golden State fan, I would just feel like that exact same way. It's like, you're not giving us any new information, and you're trying to play it off like how somehow like none of this is his fault. Like you were talking about like accountability, but it's just like, these were your moves, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I couldn't agree more. And like, Anthony, what's the quote where he talks about like system, where like, did you have that one where he's talking about how like he, you know, in Golden State, everything, all the points come from a system.
I don't have that here.
Okay, well, I think I got that basically. It's you know,
yeah.
He was kind of insinuating that, you know, there's a very sophisticated scoring system in Golden State, and that, you know, he would have to reach deep into his bag to win in the later rounds of the playoffs. And again, that's a weird mix of like of truth with zero accountability. So it's kind of like, yes, that's true about Golden State, but also, you know, you had to reach deep into your bag to win. It's like, so did Kawhi this year with us.
Yeah.
So did LeBron when he's won. You know, people have to really kind of like go above and beyond. Like Kyle had to score 11 straight points in Game 6. You know, he had to reach deep to
like
win an NBA championship.
Fred had to like save us with like
that's right,
clutch threes.
And it's like, I'm wondering if it's kind of like, did you expect it to be even easier than it was? Because it looked really easy.
But
like
I think he did.
It looked,
no doubt.
For the most part, it looked unfair.
Yes.
You know, like those championships against Cleveland, you know, everyone was complaining because everyone was saying the league was broken.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a bit of like a, you know, that like 3 over LeBron, you know, like that he hit to kind of sway the series. It's like, that was a big 3, but that was also like, stop, he's already dead. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
You want to talk about reaching into your bag. Like what's LeBron?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, just, yeah, I don't know.
And just like this part in the quote where it's like, what are you going to teach me? How can you alter anything in my basketball life? It's like, that's so terrible. You know, like I can't believe somebody would like go to a new team and just like expect just to already be the best and to know everything and like, and to have such an ego about him. And like, I keep thinking about like his MVP speech and like him crying and talking about his mom being like, you the real MVP. And it's like, what happened to that Kevin Durant?
Yeah.
Like, where's that guy?
Well, I mean, you know,
I feel the exact same way about Kevin Durant. Like, I miss the old KD.
But yeah, I think, okay, I'm going to go on like a mini rant here. Just that, you know, we really have been like, I think, witnessing what happens when nuance and like a conversation gets like super narrow. And I think for a long time post Jordan, it was like, everything was like, count the rings. Oh, you know, this person was a 10-time MVP. How many rings? You know, and everything was so ring based. You know, Kobe was trying to max out his rings and Shaq was trying to max out his rings. And a player like Steve Nash got so slighted, you know, for not having won a championship, or Charles Barkley, et cetera. Mm-hmm. And then I think that's where you see the player movement. It's really influenced by that. With a guy like LeBron trying to massage his imprint on the game, like his legendary status, and then Durant operating in the wake of LeBron. And I think losing in OKC, he was like, I can't beat this guy, so I need to, I'm going to go join, or I can't beat Golden State, so I'm going to join them because they need a ring, and that's going to solidify my legendary status. But, everyone was like, you joined a 73-win team.
Yeah, you're a snake.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It actually doesn't, solidify your status. And on top of that, the guy you left, Russ, is going to win an MVP this year. We actually hate you so much that we're going to give an MVP to this guy who stayed. So I think, people are trying to play their own narratives like in real time. And it just doesn't always work.
Right. In a wild basketball fantasy that I have, it would be like Houston and Brooklyn in the finals.
Really?
And then Russ.
That's weird. That's a weird fantasy.
Russ beating KD.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I didn't know where you were going with that, but I'm like, right, Russ, KD, that's still there. And it'll be Harden, too.
Yes.
Imagine Russ and Harden
beating KD.
We just trade.
Serge Ibaka joined.
Yeah, I was gonna
say. Oh my gosh.
We trade like Serge over to the Rockets. Nick Collison comes back. Just beats KD. His mom cheering for the Rockets.
That would be beautiful, and it would just be sweet poetic justice.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, the quote that Kevin Durant either doesn't have the self-awareness or wishes he could say but can't say is that he thought this move would make him the unanimous greatest player in the NBA, and it didn't, and he's salty.
Yeah, and I think there was going back to SI and Top 100, one thing Ben Golliver has, kind of like talked about a lot, which I fully agree with, is that KD really was on the precipice of like taking the league over. Yes. And I think, a lot of people were debating, even though it was Harden and Giannis MVP last year, there was a lot of talk around like, KD's still the best. Or sometimes people would say that was Steph or whatever. And like, he really was in the debate for number one, I think particularly with LeBron's groin injury and kind of being, out of the narrative, especially in the playoffs. And with the Achilles injury, I think, I hate to say this, but the way people talk about KD coming back, I just feels a little bit delusional. Mm-hmm. Like he's a bit too old to make the comeback that people are like portraying.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And it's like, I mean, man, I hope I'm so super wrong because injuries suck. Yeah. And I love watching KD play. And the Warriors Raptors games Warriors Raptors game where he hit a three over Kawhi was just ridiculously exciting.
And I think we owe it to him as a fan base to like hope 100%. That he gets better.
My God.
After all
of course.
The crappy fans like cheered when he went down.
Yeah. And, forgive me for listeners, if I've said something like this on the podcast before, but it's like, I just don't really see a path for KD being an all NBA player, third team ever again. I think, if you consider the fact that he's 31 and he's missing this entire year, like he's not coming back, period. Mm-hmm. And then I think he'll come back after that. And it's like, he's just going to be like, in old man territory beyond coming back from the worst injury you can get in basketball.
Yeah.
So I think he'll be a very, very skilled player and like probably get to be an all-star. But I think the talk around KD finishing as like a top 10, top 15 player all time, unfortunately, is kind of over.
Yeah.
And again, I so hope I'm super wrong. Anytime a player has a massive injury, I hope I'm wrong. That they'll make a full recovery and kind of get back to where they are. But like, it's just a small window with basketball.
I just don't. And I don't think he's going to win a championship again.
Yeah, no,
especially if he's in Brooklyn.
Yeah, him and Kyrie is a perfect duo to get you eliminated in the first round.
Yes,
for 4 years in a row.
It's a perfect duo for social media drama.
Yes,
and flat Earth.
Yeah, they might as well throw Jimmy Butler on that team shot makers. Yeah,
it's a move I really don't understand. Like especially after the injury. Like before, like if the injury didn't happen, I would understand that move a bit more. But once that injury happened, it I just don't get this move. And I think like, I don't know, like going back to like all the quotes and stuff like that. And I'm not the first person to say this, but Kevin Durant just cares way too much about what other people think of him.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And that's been, I think, his real downfall in a way. Because I think all these other NBA players care about what people think, but they know they're not supposed to care at the very least.
Right.
And don't let on how much they care. But it's like he's making life decisions over and over again, big life decisions based on what he thinks our opinions are.
Yeah. No, I couldn't agree more. Okay, let's move on from KD and let's kind of go back to the SI top 100 list just to finish off the NBA stuff. So who wants to start here with their, let's all do, let's all pick a person who's too high on the list. Matt, if you want to play.
Okay, I'll check it out.
Feel free. Who wants to go first? Cathryn, who's too high on this list?
I have 2 picks.
Okay. And we're talking non-Raptors.
Yeah, non-Raptors, too high on the list. Okay, I'm going to go with my one that I think is a bit more controversial, and you can all disagree with me, and it's okay. Here we go. Al Horford, 18.
Okay.
Too high.
Cathryn, I could not agree more. And anyone who listens to this pod knows that I am such an Al Horford stan. I think he's amazing. He's a winner, but he's a lot closer to where Marc Gasol is right now than 19th overall. Like he is absolutely not going to have a better season than Siakam. Or Ben Simmons or Mitchell or like a plethora of people. Like Horford's a winner. He's incredible, but 19 is that's
18.
Oh, 18.
Blake Griffin is 19.
Yeah, and I agree with that. I think Blake's incredible, but Al Horford, it's like, especially with where, he's heading to Philly, I think rightfully so, to be a lesser role. Okay, sorry, Cathryn, I totally jumped on your person.
No, that's great.
But yeah, like, what's your thoughts there? Like, what's going through your head when you're like, what the hell with Al Horford?
Oh, with me?
Yeah.
That he's going to be taking on a significantly lesser role this year. He's also getting older, although I don't know his exact age. 33.
Yeah,
I'm just
33.
looking at the article now. Yeah, and I just feel like this article holds age against other players, so I don't know why they're not holding it against Al Horford.
Yeah.
He's a great player, but I just don't think he's number 18 in the entire league.
I like it. Antony, who's your too high person?
Too high. Probably. I was just looking here. It was Kemba.
Okay, where's Kemba at?
20.
20. So too high.
Too high.
Oh.
I think Kemba gets overrated pretty heavily, and especially after this FIBA game.
Yeah.
I can bury him even harder. I'm just not crazy about Kemba Walker. He's, in my mind, never been a winner, and I don't necessarily think that he's going to change.
I mean, he'll have the opportunity to prove it this year, that's for sure, because,
to prove that he's not a winner.
Well, yeah, honestly, because, he's had a lot of years with Charlotte, so I think he can point to being like, okay, but my best teammate was, Nicholas Batum.
Yeah.
And now it's
Frank Kaminsky.
Yeah, now there's some more talent around him, so we should see, it's always fun to see a player in a new situation. Okay, Matt, who's your too high?
I'm going to pick Chris Paul at 21.
Okay.
I think he's not far off, I guess, but just based on his age right now.
That's a good pick.
Yeah, I'd say he should be somewhere in the mid 20s, maybe. Not so, he's in the bottom 20s, so I just feel like that's a little rich for him. I guess he's the face of the franchise in OKC now, really, but it's I just my gut's telling me he's a little high. Am I wrong?
No, I'm totally with you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stick with my summer vibes.
Yeah.
I've kind of just, I'm just beating the drum of it was exciting. The Clippers, they really kind of pushed Golden State in the playoffs. A lot of players had solid a solid 6 games. But in the end, they got pretty, thrashed by Golden State, and their season ended in the first round. And people are way too high on Trez, Lou Williams, Pat Beverly, all those role players. But the person I'm going to single out here is Pat Bev, who I didn't pick someone high on the list. I picked someone who shouldn't be on the list.
Oh my.
So Pat Bev, they have at 81. I mean, I'm just going to ballpark it in my head. I put him at like 140. Like, this is an extremely he's an extremely limited player.
Yeah.
He's a very, very good defender. And he's a very efficient 3-point shooter, which on its face is kind of like, holy shit, that's pretty good. But it's like the guy can't do anything else. Like, he's a nominal point guard, can barely dribble, can't distribute, doesn't really rebound. Like, he's a big impact game, and I'd love to have him on my team in the playoffs. But I think to put him over, volume scorers or there's just I don't know. I'd probably put OG Anunoby over him. You know what I mean? I'd flirt with putting Norm Powell over him.
I would certainly put
Fred.
Lonzo Ball over him.
Fred, obviously. Yeah. Oh my God. Fred is
Fred.
Lonzo Ball too.
Yeah.
Honestly, and I don't think he's bad. I just think, people are so high on and I think this list is they really prioritize fitting into, knowing your role.
Yeah.
And if people who are a little bit outsized of their role and a little less efficient really get hurt. And I think that's the wrong way to evaluate it. Okay. Should I just go with my
I completely agree with everything you just said. I just want to put that out there. I think the Clippers are so overrated. I think, no bias here at all. But I think just the fact that they won 2 games against Golden State in the first round, people are reading way too much into this. There's no way Golden State was actually invested in the first round of the playoffs. No, they were cruising. And then they're they were cruising. It's just, I don't know. People have put way too much stock into that team, and I have always disliked Patrick Beverley.
And just back to that series, maybe I should be better at researching, so I actually have the exact number. But if I'm totally wrong and you listen to this podcast, please berate me or whatever. But I would guess that Golden State ended up beating Clippers by 80 to 100 points in that series. I think they lost some really, that big comeback, obviously. But if I had to put a number on it, I would say they outscored them by 60, 80, 100 points. In the same way that we took Cleveland to 6 games in the conference finals. It's but then they beat the shit out of us.
Yeah, it's exactly that.
And that's how I feel about that. Okay. Let me jump on my player who I think is just too low. Okay, I got to stick with it. I've been beating this drum pretty hard too, and we'll see if I'm just extremely wrong. But I think putting Wiggins at 100 is all sorts of disrespectful. We're talking Levine, who does what he does, but worse. We're talking Al-Farouq Aminu, who scores 7 points a game. We're even talking a guy like Serge Ibaka, who's a backup center. Or Tobias Harris, who does what Wiggins does, but worse. And I just think that we've all got a bit carried away here with how low we have Andrew Wiggins. I get that he is a volume scorer who's super inefficient, who looks disengaged and, doesn't pass the ball well and is not great on defense or is downright bad on defense. But I think he's better than probably about 30 players on this list, on his very worst day. He's also 24 years old, so expecting him to regress doesn't make sense to me.
It's becoming popular to dislike him.
No, that's what I mean. I think it's so in vogue to hate on Wiggins that people are starting to be do you think Wiggins should be in the NBA? And it's yes. Like, what are you insane? Like, he's like 21 or 19 points a game at like 24 years old. Like, take it easy. Yeah, I mean, I think it's also the number one overall draft thing really works against him. But anyways, that's I tried to find another player, but the Wiggins thing is rattling me. Again, I'm just looking at all these players like Gary Harris, better than Wiggins. Scram with that.
Yeah.
Scram. You kidding me? But let's go to Antony.
I think probably the one that has stuck out for me is Nurk.
Okay,
like, he's pretty low, and
Yusuf Nurkic.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's coming back from that horrific injury. Well, where's he at?
He's at 78.
Right.
And I'm just looking at players in front of him, and like, yeah, I know he's coming back from injury, but like, he's better than PJ Tucker. Like, come on, bro. And Harrison Barnes.
I love PJ Tucker.
I love PJ too, but
yes.
And he's also better than Thad Young. Like, come on, bro. Like, we gotta respect Nurk. Like, he is such a key piece of Portland and their front court. And like, man, honestly, they were not the same team without him, and they really relied on like guys like Zach Collins to like to step up, because like he just left such a big hole in their playoff lineup, and then like he makes Portland a contender, I think.
I mean, I don't think I'm as high with as you with Nurkic, and I think that they're saying February for return. So I'll slightly disagree, but I do think that he is a player who's, underrated in general, and I hear you. How about that?
I think he's like a good like post scorer, and he is a pretty good defender as well. So
he was fantastic before he got hurt.
Yeah.
Like that trade, man, that trade was really, that's one of those like really good for both players situation. Mm-hmm. Like him going to Portland and then Jokic being like, I'm the guy in Denver was like, man, that's pretty good for those guys.
Is he ever?
Yeah, totally. Okay, Cathryn, who's your too low in the list guy?
Okay, so mine is Klay Thompson, who's ranked 58th.
Okay. So it's another injury guy here.
Yeah. So basically, like when I read this blurb, I was really confused because they're like, oh, in the past 5 years, like nobody's come back from an ACL tear in shorter than 11 months. Mm-hmm. And then they're like, oh, so he might come back mid-May. And then to me, it's like, well, if this ranking is on, oh, he could come back, then why are we ranking him 58th? Like if you're saying he's going to come back and he's going to be great, then he deserves to be higher.
Yeah, I mean,
right. But if you're saying, oh, he's going to be sitting out for like basically the whole season and even the playoffs, then why have him on the list at all?
Right.
Like there should just be like a not on the list due to injury section, or have him where you think he will be when he comes back. Like why find this like middle of the road number? Like I don't really get that.
Right. And yeah, I mean, we haven't seen the top 10 yet, but I'm kind of assuming KD's on there. And similarly for me, it's like, man, I bet you when he comes back, he's going to be incredible. But it's like, I think it's been pretty clear he's not coming back this season, period. So
yeah.
Right.
Why have him
in that case, it's like, is he even on the list?
Right.
Yeah.
Matt, you got somebody who's
You're damn right I do.
Oh, baby. Ooh. Too low on the list? Who you got, Matty D?
Too low on the list? DeMar DeRozan. Okay?
Ooh,
and I've got my reasons.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
I feel like he's being
Bring it
punished.
back.
Yeah.
He's
Bring
being
it back.
punished right now because he, one season with Kawhi, we won a championship, and now they're going, oh, well, yeah, see, you clearly were the problem there, and you were very replaceable to win a championship. But I do think, like, he shouldn't be too much higher, but he should be in the 20s. I want DeMar in the 20s.
Oh, my God.
If he's going to be in the 30s, I want him to be 30.
Like
Sorry, Doncic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Sorry.
You're a true Raptor fan in that you're like, DeMar is awesome, but take it easy, not that awesome.
Yeah.
That's been like the last, like, you know what I mean? If a Raptors fan is in the bar, they're like, what do you think about DeMar DeRozan? And the person's like, I don't know. And he's like, no, he's sick. And he's like, well, I guess he's okay. And they're like, yeah, you're right. He's not that sick. Okay. Yeah. So I think that about does it for NBA stuff.
All right.
Let's wrap it up with some quickish questions. Maddie, would you give me that quickish questions sting?
Quickish Questions!
You got a punchline, Matt, or what? Are you going to explain that? I'm
Jeez Louise.
Just having some fun. Okay. So you guys know how to play Quickish Questions. I'm not sure if we did it with you before, Anthony, but
I don't think so.
Here's what you need to know.
Here we go.
Yeah, I'm going to stammer through some questions. Your only job is to not think and answer them as fast as you can. You can't phone a friend. You can't
phoning a friend.
Yeah, you can't do any of that stuff.
Okay.
You just got to answer as quick as you can. Matt's going to play. Cathryn, you know what's up.
Ready?
Ready. Okay, Anthony, we're going to start with you. WNBA Toronto team potential name.
Oh, it's so hard.
The Toronto Raptors.
Whoa!
I don't know, Matt. Well, I'm gonna do this question for everybody.
Oh, wow.
Matt, what's a WNBA team name for Toronto?
I'm going to take Toronto out of it. I'm going to call them because they're going to be sponsored by this place, the Sneaky D Hustlers.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. We're going to get nasty emails. Don't you dare. Oh my God. Cathryn, can you save this? Can you save this moment, please? My goodness. Cathryn, what do you got, please?
I never have a good name.
I know. We do this a lot, eh?
We do this a lot. This is the thing, because it's like, it's natural to be like, okay, let's go with a different dinosaur. But like dinosaur names, I don't know if you've noticed, are kind of long.
Yeah, sure.
And like, you don't want to go with like T-Rexes because like they barely have arms.
That's right.
Yeah.
Pterodactyl's weird too.
Pterodactyls are weird.
Toronto Pterodactyls? Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a borderline tongue twister.
Do you got anything, Cathryn?
You're not gonna call them. You're not gonna like name them after something Canadian because that's gonna be super lame. I'm sorry, but it is.
You're phoning a friend right now.
You're not gonna like. I am. I don't have a good answer, but I want the team to be here. I want the team to be good.
I'm gonna save this
Sneaky
moment,
D
and I'm
Hustlers,
gonna
I
say I thought about a name.
Okay.
The Toronto Tower.
Toronto Tower? Ooh, I kind of like it.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, Toronto Tower.
The Toronto Tower, not towers.
Toronto Tower.
Tower, baby.
No, I like it plural.
Toronto Towers.
Okay.
But I'm into it. I'm into it.
Yeah, that's
one of the better names I've heard.
Yeah.
All right, let's keep going here because I totally botched this whole thing. Matt.
Yeah.
USA basketball. Tear it all down. Yes or yes?
Tear it all. USA basketball. Tear
That's
it down?
right.
Yeah. Tear it down.
Hell yeah.
Just to start a fire.
That's right. Cathryn, what changes do Basketball Canada need to make in order to qualify for the 2020 Olympics?
Oh, I don't know. Just like have better players.
Cheers. No, that's what I'm looking for. Anthony.
Yes.
Who is better? Jokic
Don't do this.
or Lou Williams?
No.
Jokic.
Right? Silly question.
Sorry,
okay.
Mark Little.
I know. We had hey. You put it there, I'll ask it. Maddie.
Yeah.
Who is going to break? Actually, this isn't all play question.
Okay.
Maddie, who is going to break the NBA's no ninja headwear rule this season, and what reason are they going to give for doing it?
I think it's going to be just because he's been a little shit disturber already in the summer. It's going to be KD sitting on the bench for Brooklyn.
Oh my God. Okay. If he does that, everyone better start laughing. If he does that, that's so rad. It's just him standing next to the Brooklyn Knight. They're both doing it.
But he'll just say it when they ask him about it. He'll be like, what ninja headband? And we'll be like, oh, okay, KD.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He still somehow makes it weird. Okay, Cathryn, who's going to break the headband rule and why? Or how?
Same question. Oh,
it's an all play.
I'm gonna go Jimmy Butler because he just like doesn't give a shit.
I like that. Yeah. Before I throw to Anthony, I'll say Vince Carter, and his reason will be I'm too old. Don't tell me what to do. Anthony,
I am gonna go with Mike Scott because
he just looks cool.
He looks cool with it. And did you hear about him at the Philadelphia Eagles game wearing a Washington racial slurs jersey and knocking out those Eagles fans that tried to attack him?
Yeah, he got apparently a fist fight.
Yeah,
I did hear about this.
Yeah. So Mike Scott.
That's an ugly scenario. Scott, make it up to us. Put on that headband. Okay, that's the pod. Anthony, thank you so much for doing it.
Thanks for having me.
Cathryn, thank you so much for doing it.
Thank you.
Support the pod.
Yeah.
Tell everyone you know about it. Keep looking for Patreon page and the toques. They're on the way.
They're on their way. Get ready this fall.
They're on a shipment on the way.
Letterman jackets.
We've got one more episode next week, and then we're off for a couple because of my wedding. So
life's happening. That's what's going on. But
you should invite Danny Green.
Yeah, please invite Danny Green.
If he came with a backup generator, huge hero.
But
he wouldn't even care that he was a huge Raptors.
Yeah. Cathryn, you're a super talented person. You're writing stuff. You're performing. You're doing shit. What is going on with you in the next little while?
Oh well, I just have I don't know, what do I have going on? Some shows. I'm doing some Lady Beer Fest at the end of the month. That'll be super fun.
What day is that?
It's the last weekend of September.
Okay. You know what?
You can follow me on Twitter, not in person.
Yep.
At it's me _Cathryn.
Awesome. Cool. We'll plug your social medias.
Yeah.
Thank y'all.
Were you gonna say something, Maddie?
No, I was just gonna say that on most of our podcatchers, just click on the guest's name and it'll take you right to their Twitter handles.
Woo. Yeah. Anthony, what's up?
As you guys mentioned earlier, my show, Ming's Dynasty, is on CBC Gem.
Nice.
You can stream all 6 episodes for free on demand whenever you see fit. Please help us support Canadian content, especially comedy.
Yes.
It's an authentic story about 2 Toronto rappers who have to go back to a small town in Alberta to run a Chinese restaurant. It's based on my real life.
Honestly,
nice.
It's amazing. Everyone watch it.
Definitely gonna check it out.
Leave comments that are like, I'm literally gonna freak if there's no season 2. Just write stuff like that. Know what I mean?
And aside from that, I'm just doing some shows around town. I'll be at the Bad Dog Comedy Theater, at Comedy Bar, at the Social Capital, doing improv, all those sort of things. Yeah, follow me at my handles, Instagram at Holland Jokes, and Twitter as well. That's about it. Yeah.
Beautiful. Cool. Well, we'll see everybody next week.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Goodbye.
It's the Confederacy of Dunks Basketball Podcast.